Hey everybody, good morning. Mestre Sukuryu coming to you from Tokyo, Japan, here on YouTube, Mestre Vibes. Early in the morning, it's a nice rainy day. What does it take to get to where I am? It's always hard to talk about what I do because people will sometimes take it as kind of being snobby or whatever. But let's leave all those people with their own insecurities and their own lack of knowledge to the side, and let's get right down to the question that I got last night. What does it take to get to where you are, Mestre? One of my friends who does capoeira sent me this video and asked, I said I should share kind of what led to me sitting here in this nice gamer's chair right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about everything outside of the Hoda. And I hope this story doesn't bore you guys, but I thought I'd put it out there. Okay. Everything outside of capoeira to be where I am as a mestre of capoeira. Of course I trained. Of course I put in my dues. Of course I got my rasteras. Of course I got my martelos to the face. Of course I've been given vingachivas. And of course I did that all to other people. So what does it take to be where I am? Okay? I'm not saying I am super successful. I'm not saying I'm super successful. But what a lot of people like to say is, I'm living the dream, right? I'm doing what I want to. I'm teaching capoeira. I'm working with people, kids, and being a teacher, what I like to do. First of all, I really think we need to be careful, and people need to know. They have no idea what they're talking about. Sorry. Like I always mention, I got a really good friend who works in a big investment bank. I know his background, and I know what it takes, and I appreciate that. But I really don't know until I've walked in his shoes all the extra little things he's done. Reading the journals, reading the manuals, keeping up with tech, and doing everything, right? I appreciate it, but I really don't know unless I sit down and ask him to go through everything. So, what I'm going to try to do is try to go through everything that I did to be here in this nice gamer's chair that my wife bought me for my birthday this year. Okay. In I don't know if a lot of you know, but I didn't graduate high school. I grew up really bad neighborhood in South San Diego, right on the border. And we were below the poverty line, welfare, single mother Mexican, okay? It's four of us, and we didn't even speak English in the house. It was Spanish. I dropped out of high school at about 15, and I was out on my own at 15 and a half, pretty much, paying my own rent, working, hustling, doing whatever I could to get the rent paid, okay? At 19, I was able to go back to school. In the United States, you can go to junior college, at least in California, and I decided to study, my heritage, my culture. It had always been something very powerful for me. Mexican-American culture and Brazilian culture has always been very, very interesting for me. So I worked my butt off. I did 2 bachelor's degrees in 3 years, went junior college for a year and a half at University of San Diego, a private diocesan school. And there I learned more about Hispanic Latin American studies. I did political science. Then I did a year of history, ran out of money, so, I had to get a job, start working, do all this stuff. So worked for a few years, went back in 1988 and did a year of a master's at San Diego State University, Latin American Studies program. At the time, it's the 4th best Latin American Studies program in the United States. Graduated, I think I have my transcript still. I believe I graduated with like a 3.4. There's a lot of transcripts in there. So then in 2005, and then I came to Japan in 99, started Capoeira Zoador. Then today, we have Capoeira Zoador Academy, Samba de Sereia. We were just getting our events company started with artists and musicians. before the pandemic. Okay, so now let's talk about. That's my graduated a master's in international relations, focusing on the globalization and importation of Afro-Brazilian popular culture arts. My thesis, I'm going to be going over it, doing a self-edit, and then I'll be putting it on our Patreon page. So if you're interested, it's Race Relations, Globalization, and Importation into Contemporary Japanese Society. I talk about how one of the biggest, samba events in the world is here in Tokyo. I talk about race relations within the Japanese and Brazilian community here. So it's an interesting read. It's a little more academic, but I try to keep it light, and I'll try to rewrite it that way, and that'll be on our Patreon page. Okay. So since I came to Japan, or before, always in Capoeira, I always chased after information. People used to say in Portuguese, "Né? Tem que correr atrás." You have to chase after the information. And that's something that I've always done. Maybe that's because I'm also, lucky enough to have studied. I put myself through college, so no one can say, "Hey, you're American," or "Você é gringo." No, come on. Most of my friends had kids when they were 16. I made different choices, and this is where I am today. Okay. I think there's a few big points that are important to show where I am. One, most important, is my stability. I got married to my amazing wife in 2000. She's going to get angry at me here. We got married in 2003 or 2004. She kills me for this stuff. We had so much going on. We opened the Academia in 2003, and we've been here for 17, 18 years together. And the stability of that relationship, I'm not saying man has to marry woman has to marry, no. I'm saying I showed ethical and moral stability. Even though I was wild, partying, drinking, having fun, going crazy, I was always stable in my family life. And I think it's important because people look at you. So stability in your personal life, not dating all the students whenever you can, not trying to lead by example by being a player. I'm not saying everyone does, but if you do that, people are going to look at you a certain way, okay? And that is your choice to behave that way. You can say whatever you want. Oh, people shouldn't judge me. Guys, ladies, human nature, people judge. Okay, so stability. Second is what got me to where I am is very important, is always having faith and belief, and hopefully being able to take criticism to grow. I always have a desire to be better, to improve on myself, not better than others, but to improve on myself. So for example, the second master's degree was at Waseda, where I could take, it was at the same time, the MBA program and the International Relations program was in the same department because it was a new MBA program and Graduate School of Asian Pacific Studies. So I studied there and I took a lot of classes on business at the MBA level. Advanced marketing, corporate strategy, entrepreneurial theory, great class, all leadership. So many things in there that was insane. Took about 5, 6, 7 classes just on business. So I could understand how to be a better business person and leader. Why? Because I'm running a business. So all this is coming together along with my growth in capoeira and most importantly, my growth spiritually as a capoeirista. Okay? I made a video about the empty sake bottle, right? It's strong, but on the inside, it lacks the actual product. The actual product of capoeira, a capoeirista should have is the spirituality and the philosophy that comes. If you study any other martial art or any other art, you're going to learn about the history, the culture, and the traditions. Most people in capoeira, unfortunately, I don't see it. I'm just judging, giving you my opinion, right? So, put all that together. We opened Samba Sereia. I looked for investors. My partner and I decided to open it up. And we have Samba Sereia now 2 years. And, we're doing, our Patreon to get people to come in and to support what we do. So nothing's ever free. Okay? Nothing's ever free. So this is all these things, plus never missing one day or 1 week without, unless it's an injury of capoeira. Even when I was hurt, when I had my knee operation, I was studying capoeira music. I was reading books. I never stopped improving in my career. So this brings me to what my friend and I were talking about, and I thought it was really interesting because people ask me all the time. I'll make a little songbook, and people ask me, how long did it take to make this? For me, doing it because it's all in here, typing took me maybe 1 day, 2 days, copying and pasting, organizing. But let's be realistic. It took me over 30 years. When people ask me, how much do you charge for a show? How much should I charge for 30 years? 2 master's degrees, experience. How much do you charge for this hat? Wow. Not to mention all the extra things like investment I've done, investment into opening an academia, investment of my extra time to make sure extra things are ready, investment in all the beating bows. I have about 15 kids beating bows. Those weren't free. Investment into the stock of having calzas. Nothing looks worse than when people come into your academia or your class and you don't have anything. You say you have to wear a uniform, but you don't have any. Hold on, I'm ordering right now. No, you're trying to hustle your way through. You got to invest. Invest in your education. Invest in your stability emotionally, in society. You're a leader. People are looking. Invest in what you're doing. If you're going to be teaching online for the next 6 months and it's working, invest in a good camera and a good microphone. For God's sakes, clean your room, clean your apartment so you have a better space to show what you're doing. Put some posters up. It's become your studio. What does it take to get to where I am to sit in this chair? Everything I just said. And 1,000 things more. Guys, value those who are doing things that are off the beaten path. Nothing's more unusual than teaching capoeira in a foreign country when you're not even Brazilian. Keep the faith. Be smart. Lots of love, lots of peace, lots of capoeira. I talk about these kind of things and even more in detail in our Patreon page. The link's below. We're doing a big rush right now. If you join Patreon, you can join for as little as $5 a month, which is a cup of coffee for me. And you know what I can do with a cup of coffee? I can put some videos out, record some music. So if you'd like to support us, visit our Patreon. If you like us here on YouTube, press like, subscribe, leave a comment. And here we go. Let's get to it. Ashe.